Well, another program that Sony is closing down back to back, apparently. We're putting these stories. Sony is pulling PSVR2 funding. That is the current rumor, according to some reports. Android Central cites anonymous sources, so not the most stable of people we can let you know, but they're saying that we may see a defund in VR and through the PlayStation. We already seen them try to get into the PC market, but yeah, it's really unfortunate to see them sort of abandon it. But we saw in weak sales that they weren't expecting that I don't think they could make this work. But what are your thoughts? I know you're a user. You enjoyed the experiences, so I'm sad to see this go. Even though I never got to try it.
I don't think when they say defunding, if you read the article, if you read the reports, it's not a case of, oh, we're scrapping PSVR2. It is a case of PSVR2 isn't doing as well as we expected, so we can't pour as much money into it as we were doing, so we're going to rein back on what we're doing to support it. The report says that there's actually 2 first-party PSVR2 games upcoming, which is, for my money, 2 more than I thought we were going to get. We went basically 12 months without a first-party release or without an exclusive release. Synapse was the last one, so you had Call of the Mountain, you had a couple of others, then you had Synapse. And Synapse was that last exclusive release for the PSVR 2. We now know that there are 2 more exclusive PSVR 2 games coming in the future, and according to the report, it could even be in the next 12 months, which would be amazing. As Ninja Guy VR is saying in chat, it still sees a lot of third-party support. As long as the community is active, there will be games that will be sent to it. It's got the same sort of idea as the PlayStation Vita in that regard. There was a lot of support for it, just not a lot from Sony and PlayStation directly, which is why the Vita didn't do so well. So I'm surprised they haven't learned from their previous mistakes. The PSVR 2 is a phenomenal headset. It is the best VR headset that I have used. It's the most comfortable, it's the highest fidelity, it's the easiest to set up. It's one of the cheapest options for the specs that it actually offers as well. And now that it can be used on PC as well as on PS5, I think there's some excellent reasons to stay with it and use it. It is an incredible bit of hardware. I love it. I am still getting a lot of time with it. They've just put 6 games on PlayStation Plus that I have downloaded, and I've only managed to play 2 of them so far. One of those being Ghostbusters, a big AAA VR experience. I think what would have been better is a permanent £100, $100 price cut on the headset, get the headset out the door, make the money on the software, because once people experience that, they don't want to go back. And once you start getting people involved, there's going to be more people who want to get involved just through word of mouth, through trying to get at friends' houses and all this sort of stuff. So I'm very disappointed to see it on the one hand. It's completely unsurprising, having been an early adopter of the PlayStation Vita and seeing how that went. I got a lot of Vita vibes from the PSVR 2 when I first picked it up. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing for me. I loved all of my time with the Vita. I just wished there was more first-party support. And I now know that that's pretty much exactly what I'm going to get with the PSVR 2. And because I went into it expecting that, I'm absolutely okay with that. But you've got a lot of people who went in expecting the second coming of virtual reality, which this was never going to be. It's attached to a console, for Pete's sake. But I love it. I'm disappointed it's not going to get the support that it deserves, but at the same time, there's a lot of third-party support. There's over 40 games that I've picked up for it in the first 12 months. I haven't done that for any other platform anywhere else, picked up that many games in the first 12 months of it being on the market. There's definitely legs with this, and I don't think this is the last we will see or hear of PSVR 2.
So the PS2 VR moves on and it still lives on. But one thing I will say, if something is starting to fail, sometimes I feel like on paper defunding or taking a step back makes sense, but also double down and perhaps put this massive experience that can only be had on the PSVR 2 and
Yes.
really attract people to it. And sometimes I feel like that strategy may be more risky, but it needs to be taken sometimes. And if I was in charge, I would definitely drive a company into the ground taking that risk.
I'm not sure you would, though. How many of us have been talking about boring games over the past 2, 3, 4 years? We've all said, oh, this game's boring, this game's boring. They're doing the same thing again and again and again. If you were running it and saying, just get us a giant exclusive experience for this, build something that can only be had on the PlayStation VR2 that everybody wants to play, give us a PlayStation version of Half-Life Alyx. Like, that is the Steam VR must-play experience. Give us the PlayStation version of Beat Saber. That is the meta must-play experience. Like, just give us something that is PlayStation-centric, PlayStation first, or PlayStation only, and people will come. If the game is that good, they will go out and buy the hardware to play the software. We have seen it time and time and time again. And as you say, like, if something's not doing quite what you wanted it to, with your foot half on the gas, floor it. Go full in, give it 2 years, and if it's still not working, then you can pull the plug. But half-arsing it, you can't say you gave it enough time.
Here are my 2 crazy VR titles I think they should make. 1, Killzone: The Lone Warrior. The red goggles, everything, really get into that, make that Half-Life 2 experience with Killzone IP. Second one, I would say, God of War VR. Put that axe in your hand and start smashing stuff. Really bring that to life. The chains with the double, sticks like that. I really think that would be an excellent experience. I think they need to take advantage. Even going something Naughty Dog route, running, jumping, grabbing onto rope, a real experience where you're constantly moving. I think these experiences need to be explored, and I think VR could do it.
I think you're right, but with your descriptions there's things like this, like a lovely vase that you don't like. Oh yeah, let's wing the blades of chaos round. You really don't like people's precious objects in their house, do you?
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. And if somebody breaks a controller, they want to buy it so they can get a new one to get back into the game.
Yeah,
hey,
you're quite right.
In VR would be cool. We got Asgard's Wrath 2. Ninja Guy VR is telling people it is the God of War of MetaQuest, so if you're looking for that experience. And Behemoth is going to be on PSVR2, so that's going to be an epic experience. I did see it, and I really thought that's the kind of thing you need. Even though I believe that is on PC, they need to take something of that scope, make it even bigger, surround it with the PlayStation IP, and just go for it.
Yeah, like you say, lean on nostalgia, lean on those PlayStation IPs, lean on the recognized, and then you can also bring in the unknowns. Like, give me a Returnal type game, like that sort of unique, brilliant experience. The similar sort of vibe to what Synapse was, that can only be had on PSVR 2. Give me a God of War experience on PSVR 2. Killzone would be perfect. The fans are screaming for another Killzone game. We haven't had one since 2013. Give us one. Give us one in VR. People will go and buy it. Trust me. Give us an Aloy-centric Horizon game on PSVR, because the one we've got is great, but expand upon it. Give us like a full world to explore and live in. You've got great ideas, and as someone who uses the headset and loves it, the hype levels I would get from that are higher than I have had for any game in quite a while. It's not hard to do things right when you've got such a wealth of IP behind you and such a unique way of interacting with them with your whole body. You're quite right. Use those IPs, lean on those experiences, and give us something new and unique that can only be had on this platform, and people will come. People will come.
Well, lastly, on our VR section of the show, let's check out Infinite Inside, the cinematic release date trailer. So it's going to be released on the 12th of July. And when you sent this to me, I really thought it was cool because it's blending AR and VR, which I really think is a cool aspect of gaming. I think they need to bring more of that into like the world and stuff. And honestly, I think it's the future AR, having that other layer of reality. But yeah, cool to see, and coming out very soon.
Yeah, I have a big question about this one. Now, I know you haven't used the PSVR2, but we've got folks in chat who have. I've never seen color pass-through on the PlayStation VR2. So the cameras on the front of the headset are infrared, which means they see basically in black and white, which is really good because it means you can see your hands, you can see those beautiful bright white controllers really easily. It's how it tracks your hand movements and what have you. But I've only ever had pass-through in black and white, and you're looking at this trailer and the pass-through is in full color. Have they somehow figured out a way to get me into my living room in full color on the PSVR 2? Or is this game, because it's on the likes of Meta and all the PC VR headsets as well, is this pass-through going to be black and white on PSVR 2, which might be even more cool because you've got the black and white real world and then the full color virtual world? It's an interesting question, and they've not really said anything anywhere because all of the footage shows color pass-through, but I don't think PSVR 2 could do color pass-through, in which case the black and white pass-through with the color virtual world is going to be a very artistic difference between the releases that I could pretty much get behind. Just confusing.
I think they clarify it here. Wait a second. Also available in virtual reality. So I think it's going to be, like you say, not color pass-through on PlayStation VR 2 and Steam VR. And I think because they've listed the Vision Pro, you'll be able to experience on mixed reality on MetaQuest 3, Pro, and whatever Pico is.
Pico is another standalone headset, very similar to the Meta side of things. They're meant to be quite a good competitor to them. I've never used one, unfortunately. I haven't used a Meta headset either, so I can't talk on those sides, but Pico is a standalone VR headset.
Well, hey, a lot of excitement still around VR, and watch out for Naughty Dog's new PSVR 2 title, Can't Run Fast Enough.